Okay guys, today we're talking about exponent rules, and so today we're focusing on two rules that we're learning. Today in class we've covered multiplying powers, and so when you are multiplying powers with the same base, you add the exponents. And then with power to a power, we also have been working with that one, and so when you're raising a power to a power, you multiply the exponents. So let's go ahead and let's focus on the multiplying powers. So I'm going to walk through some of these. You are going to do all of the front side. So let's look at these and see how to do some of these. Number 1, 4 to the second power times 4 to the second power. That is the same thing as 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Okay? So when I look at that, I have 4 to the 4th power. Now, thinking about it with our rule, 4 to the second power times 4 to the second power, that gives us 4 times 2 plus 2, because we're adding our exponents, which also gives us 4 to the 4th power. So that's what's happening with that. Number 2, let's go ahead and look at this one. Okay, when you don't have an exponent, there really is one there. That is 4 to the 1st power. So we have to treat it that way. So that's going to leave us with 4 to the 1st power plus the 2nd power. And so you're going to finish that one up to go ahead and find your answer. Number 3. Okay, 3 to the 2nd power times 3 to the 2nd power. Again, we're going to have our base. Our bases are the same. And we go 2 plus 2, and that's going to equal, and you'll finish that one up. Number 4 you're going to do on your own, but remember this first 2, even though I can't see an exponent, I know it's 2 to the 1st power. Now let's go ahead and look at number 5. Number 5, okay, we're starting to have some coefficients involved. So let's break it apart and see what we have. We have 2 times n to the 4th power times 5 times n to the 4th power. Now, we can take our coefficients, our 2 and our 5, and multiply those together. 2 times 5 gives us 10. And then we're going to follow our exponent rule with our n's, with our variables. So that gives us n to the 4th plus 4. And that's going to equal 10 to the n to the 8th power. Okay? So, looking at number 6. 6r times 5r squared. So, let's break it apart. 6 times r times 5 times r squared. Okay? So that's going to leave us, if we want to kind of reorder things, we can do that. So that leaves us with 6 times 5. And then our exponent rule, times r to the 1st plus 2nd. Now let's simplify it. 6 times 5 is 30. 1 plus 2 is 3. So we have 30 to the times r to the 3rd power. Okay? 7, getting it started. We have 2 times n to the 4th power times 6 times n to the 4th power. Then you can combine. You can do your 2 times 6. And then you have your n to the 4th plus 4th. And then go ahead and finish that up. 8, if we spread it out, remember we have 6 times k to the 2nd power times k to the 1st power. Okay, and so you can go ahead and finish that up and then keep on working down the page. Now, let's go ahead and then we'll go ahead and look at the back. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the back. You were going to look at the odds, so I'm going to look at the evens. On the back, we have some bigger problems that we're looking at. So let's go ahead, just like we were doing on the other side, let's split it up. So we have 9 times x times y squared times 9 times x to the 5th power times y squared. So 9 times 9, okay? And then x's, I can join those. So I have x to the first plus fifth times y to the second plus second. And when I simplify that, 9 times 9 is 81. And then times x, 1 plus 5 is 6. Times y, 2 plus 2 is 4. And so that gives us 81 x to the 6th power, y to the 4th power. Number 16. Okay, doing the same thing. Let's expand it out. We have 6 times x squared times 6 times x to the 3rd times y to the 4th. Okay, 6 times 6. And then that leaves us with our x squared. Okay, we can join that with our x to the 3rd power. And then y, we only have our y to the 4th power. There's nothing to join with it. When I simplify, 6 times 6 is 36. And we have x to the 5th power, y to the 4th power. Number 18, separating it out. U times v times 4 times u times v to the 5th power. Okay? We only have the 4, so I'm going to start out with it. And then I have my u's. Remember, when I don't see an exponent, it's really 1. So that's u to the 1st plus the 1st, and then v to the 1st plus the 5th. So that's going to leave us with 4 u to the 2nd power, v to the 6th power. Number 20, separating it out. 3 times u to the 4th power times v to the 5th power times 7 times u to the 2nd power times v to the 3rd power. And then combining 3 times 7 and then times u to the 4th plus 2nd, and then v to the 5th plus 3rd, and then simplify. 3 times 7 is 21, and we have u, 4 plus 2 is 6, v, 5 plus 3 is 8. Okay? Now looking at the bottom of the back side, it is power to a power. So when we do a power to a power, we're going to multiply the exponents. Because if we think through, let's look at number 22. P to the 4th power to the 4th power. This exponent is telling me that I'm going to multiply P to the 4th power times itself 4 times. That this is really what's happening. And we know from our rule that we were just using that that would be P to the 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. And so that would be P to the 16th power. Now our shortcut, our rule that we're learning is that P to the 4th power to the 4th power is P to the 4th times 4th, which means P to the 16th. We get to the same answer both ways, but it's quicker using our exponent rule of power to a power. Let's go ahead and look at 24. 7k to the 2nd power. So it's all enclosed. We have our parentheses here that we are looking at. So that exponent is applying to everything that is in there, okay? So even though I can't see that 7 exponent, that there's really that 1 right there. And here we have this k right there. Okay, so when we multiply our exponents, so that's going to leave us when we're working with our 7. So we have 7 to the first power, and we have to multiply it times the power that's on the outside. So we end up with 7 to the first times the second, okay, times k to the first times the second. And then when we simplify, okay, that ends up being 7 to the second power, because 1 times 2 is 2, times k to the second power. We can simplify further because we know that 7 to the second power is 49, and then k to the second power. And so that's as far as we can go on number 24. Number 26. 2 times b to the second power, all raised to the fourth power. So we really have that 1 right there. So that leaves us with 2 to the first power times fourth power. Then we have our b to the second power times fourth power. And then we simplify. That's going to leave us with 2 to the fourth power times b to the eighth power. And then let's simplify further, because we know that 2 to the fourth power, that's really 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So that's going to give us 16 b to the eighth power. Okay, and so that is our final answer on 26. So go ahead, finish up your problems, and then we'll check those tomorrow.